and inside of one of our Facebook alumni groups. And that can be you too. You can join us. You're joining as Van Cake Van. Are you cool with that?
What? How is that possible?
You're logged in to a different
That is funny.
So hi, I'm Natasha. Allegra will be joining me in just a moment. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you're already joined with Allegra. We together are BYWD, or Beyond Your Wildest Dreams. And the two of us, we are committed to making sure we can figure out ways to help you prioritize yourself, save time, and achieve your goals. And we do that through our courses, workshops, and 4 books. We have 4 books. I have them around here. We're very excited about the latest book that we've come out with, Rock Your Holidays, because hey, we're in the midst of the holiday season, and it's not
okay. You can. I requested on
fantastic. It's not too late still to rock that holiday season. You might already be feeling like, oh yeah, I'm behind the 8 ball already, or geez, it's coming up so quick, it's coming up fast. You can still find ways to prioritize yourself inside of the season. In fact, maybe it's even more important you do so right now, even though it feels like that's the last thing you should be doing. It is really important that you take care of yourself. And
absolutely,
if you're here, you're probably the magic maker in your family. You're probably the person who makes the magic, but we want you to experience some magic too. It shouldn't.
You deserve it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be all behind the scenes, slog. It should also be like,
definitely not. Yeah. Oh, you have your mug.
I have just a little, it's not a Christmas mug per se. It's just my favorite.
I have a red and white mug, but yeah, not
my favorite ski area. That's a year-round mug. It's not the, Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus mugs, and haven't been busted out yet. But they will be soon.
Yeah. So we've been doing, if you are with us regularly on Thursday, we are here live. There's an echo. Can you
hold on?
Okay.
Yep. Hopefully this will take care of it.
Technology is like, ha ha ha, I'm coming for you today.
For real. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's not pretty, y'all. It's not pretty.
The behind the scenes. It's amazing too, because we're going to be a little bit later. We're going to be on a show that we're not going to be live, by the way. If anyone got the email that we're going live, they're actually recording it and playing it at a later date. But we are reoccurring guests on a live daily YouTube show with an amazing following called The Nikki Medoro Show. And that's been really fun. And we're her mom life experts. And we have been like, my head feels like it's going to explode when I watch her do all the technology, because we know what it takes to run it smoothly, and she makes it look effortless. So she's got that habit formed up here in her brain, that brain bundle.
100%. Yeah. She used to, if you're in the Bay Area, she used to have a live radio show, and she's just skipped over to YouTube and broadcasts on YouTube live 5 days a week, right? Monday through Friday. Yeah. Yes. So, she's got that down, and she's a really great host, and her co-host they're just terrific. They're a delight. They're a delight to play with.
So if you want to see,
we love it every time we get asked to be guests over there. It's terrific.
So if you want to see our past appearances there, you can go to our website, bywdreams.com. I'll put that in the comments right here. And if you look, under the About Us section, we have a link for podcasts, interviews, and YouTube interviews and stuff like that. And you can see our past ones. And then I'll put the new one up as soon as it airs. But check out the Nikki Medoro Show. She's a lot of fun. She's definitely she's our peeps. Like, if you like us, you'll probably like the Nikki Medoro Show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's part of that vibe.
Yeah. So if you join us every Thursday, you know that we talk about, things that are happening in our life. And I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. One was I was doing a little bit of clean out I don't remember where I found this, but I found our home improvement list from 7 years ago. Home Improvement 2016.
Nice.
Right. So if you followed us, you know how important we talk in, let's see, at least 2 of our books about the value of doing a brain dump. And brain dumps are really good because it takes thoughts that have been taking up processing power. If you think of your brain like a computer, right? you have things that are just you have things that are just taking up
You can,
processing power in the background, regardless of whether or not you're going to work on that thing immediately or not. But it's like a reminder, right? Like I said, I was going to do this. I said I was going to do that. I know I should drink more water. I know I should take my supplements. Oh, I've been wanting to, paint the door in the hallway, whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of brain science to back up the value of just dumping it out onto paper. So then you free up that bandwidth to do more creative thinking. So the list is the what you want to do, but now you have the brain bandwidth to talk about, well, how do I want to do it? Or when do I want to do it?
yeah, we were on a great podcast yesterday with Elsa Elbert of Composed Living, amazing organizer slash. She has a beautiful store here in Southern California as well, and we talk about the power of lists and how important it is to make them. And we talk also about, which we've talked about here too, the way to use your list most effectively so that you're not feeling like you're being crushed under those lists.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I always have this nearby my desk. I've always got this nearby. It's on my ongoing projects binder. And I have a page for each area of the house, like the yard and stuff. And this is just an ongoing one. And as we do it, we highlight, right?
Yeah.
I highlight as I go along. Right now we're doing a specific remodel. So I have like a budget thing for the specific remodel, and that's in the front. But in the back, like you said, it frees you up to have these different ideas. And we just recently built a laundry closet upstairs. And I had so many different ideas of like how we were going to do it, like different ways we were going to use
drawing.
The hallway.
I love it.
And I'm a nerd and I love graph paper and I love like, I'm just like, not to scale. I'm not an architect, but I still.
Did you put not to scale in the drawing?
I usually do when I give it to someone else as a joke. Like I don't write it for myself, but like I have a friend who's a general contractor and I was like, hey, here are my ideas. And I showed it to him and I wrote on the side, not to scale, because,
oh my gosh. Do you have one of those three-sided?
All these different ideas, in different ways of doing it. And then, like you said, like,
I don't know if you already have one,
I've had ideas,
but I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Don't jot it down. I'm kind of like, well, what's that thought that I had about such and such, right? And I'm that kind of person who I literally have like a measuring tape in like, not every room of the house, but there's definitely one that lives upstairs, one lives downstairs, and one lives in the garage. Cause I'm always like I'll have an idea and I'm just like, ooh, will that fit? And I immediately have to measure it. Otherwise you know what I mean? So I'm a huge fan of, because some of these things, I get to look back, like I wrote started this list probably the first year or so that we were in the house. So I get to go back and look at like, oh, all the stuff that we've done, right? All the things that we decided to do.
And doesn't that feel good?
It feels really good to go back and look at that, right? Number one. Number two, it also just like, I have this idea for something and then I get a wild hair. I'm going to finally do it. I'm like, all right, this is the weekend. We're going to do it and stuff. And I have it kind of already mapped out. Right. And right. I decided a few weekends ago that I was going to do like a 1 weekend paint only makeover of our main bathroom. It has definitely turned into more than paint only and more than just 1 weekend, of course. But, because I already had things listed about, for a while now on what I wanted to do, it's just ready to go, A, and B, and it's not rattling around in here. And it's not like, oh yeah, I had that really good idea about, the shower curtain rod, what was that?
Get
idea?
It out.
What I mean?
Get it out. Save that idea before it's lost to the ether.
Right, exactly. And this is where, Pinterest boards and all that kind of stuff too, like especially one of my favorite pastimes is when I would lay down with my kids to go to sleep at night. My son would not fall asleep until I couldn't leave the bed when he was younger if he was just kind of half asleep. I had to wait till he was out. So I would just after a while be like on my phone,
Pinterest,
pinning things, like pinning things so love those Pinterest boards and stuff. But this ongoing project binder, plus this is also the place that I put things like, at some point we are going to do X remodel. So I've got like a brochure about that in here and stuff too. So keeping it all in one place too, so they don't have to, like I know a lot of people, like I said, you use a Pinterest board or maybe you use a file on your computer, but sometimes you're at like I'm at a store and I'm like, ooh, let me grab those paint samples. And I just put it all in here because I know I'm going to be able to find it.
Well,
later
and
here.
so that's great. I love how organized it is. It's interesting too, because this list predates Beyond Your Wildest Dreams by 5 years, but you can
Mhm.
already see some of the BYWD thinking here in terms of prioritization, right? Because it's
Right.
great getting a list out, but then what order do you do it in? You're not going to
Yes.
do it randomly. I'm not going to do the backsplash and then install 2 fans on the patio and then put up a
Right.
kick plate,
Right.
right? And so I actually had prioritized these by orange is, most important, and blue is not urgent. And then I had put dollar amounts next to things to just kind of categorize it in our head, like, okay, we need this much money for this thing and this much. And then on the second page, I had broken down the items into how much time they would take, like if they were a
Mm.
fast job or long job, more time intensive job, and then also the supplies we would need to purchase before we can make them happen.
Very
And
smart.
you
Yeah,
can
that's
see,
that component, by the way, if you're listening, like my brain does not have the ability to assess how long something's going to take, because in my mind, everything's going to be quick, right? Everything's going to be like, I'll paint the bathroom real quick, I'll paint the cabinets real quick, you know what I mean? Like everything's quick. And so that's why I thought I could do this project in a weekend. And but like I often think that I have infinite amount of energy, right? And so it's helpful to, I have a very hard time like parsing out like, oh, that's going to take 2 hours, and then be accurate about that. I think everything's going to take 2 hours, even when it's like, no, that's like a 3-day project. You know what I mean? Like that means nothing to me. So it's good for you that you're able to do that. So just because you can't put a time value on it doesn't mean that it isn't valuable to tease it out the way that Allegra has in this case, right? Prioritizing it. In my case, I do it by room, right? So I have different lists per room. And I haven't, don't necessarily, whatever project is like the thing that's on deck is in the front part of the binder. And then the back part of the binder is just like, as I go through the house, I'm just like, oh yeah, we really do need to refinish these banisters, and that
yeah.
kind of thing. And just writing it down. So it's not every time I look at it, I go, we got to refinish these banisters. We got to refinish these banisters. You know what I mean? Because that does happen. I'm like, it's on the list. We will get to that. It's going to happen.
Well, and what's really fun about looking at this list is I haven't looked at this list in probably 2 or 3 years now at this point, but you see how much of it was accomplished in a, let's say, 3-year period, right? Because this list is 7 years old. 7. I'm like 2023. Yes. So this list is 7 years old. So it probably took about 4 years, and you see how much was accomplished, highlighted. So, it didn't happen all in 1 year. I know for sure.
For sure not. Yeah, no, this is definitely, that's why it says ongoing.
Yeah. But based on the
Right.
things on this list, I know I haven't looked at it in a few years. And so I was like,
Which of course, okay. Everybody says when you buy a house, they're like, oh, you'll make improvements, but they're like, you'll never be done, right? Is what
forever. Now we're coming back around to things that we did 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. You've been a homeowner for a long time.
Yeah. And need to be redone.
Yeah. We're in our 9th year. And even then I'm just like, I can't believe we haven't done such and such yet. We've been here for 9 years and I can't believe that's still not done yet. I mean, we've done a whole host of other things, but like you said, yeah, it's like this constant maintenance.
Your voice, I think someone is on your Bluetooth because your voice went out and something else came in.
Hi, sorry. I think that something weird happened with my audio. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, so the Bluetooth on my husband's car is so strong that when he opens the car door, the phone immediately goes whoop to the so he probably heard you talking there for a second.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, the Bluetooth picked you up. That's what happens.
So yeah, so that's a really great thing. So just, get it out, and it's just like a fun historical document. Oh, I see. I didn't even notice this before. I had stapled a small one on. So this was 2016. In 2017, I added an addendum to my home improvement list. But they're just fun historical documents to look at. So if you have a lot of things in your mind in terms of what you want to do around the house, get it out on paper.
I'm realizing that it would have been fun for me to date when I started making a list, or at least date when I added things on there, because I've had this binder, definitely pre-pandemic, so I think I probably started it maybe like the second year we were in the house or so, but it would have been cool to see, oh, wow, we put this on this list, whenever. I
Right.
mean, this is just kind of just fun for me, and then maybe date when it actually got done or something, you know what I mean? Possibly, or at the very least, just being like, oh, wow, this was done back in, 2015 or
Well,
whatever, that would have been cool, but
but
it didn't have to be
it's
that.
not just fun. It's not just fun. It is helpful to you to see your forward progress, right? If you
That is
don't,
100% true.
we talk about the value of recognizing, you don't, we say celebrate, but celebration doesn't have to be you throw yourself a party, but just to say like, look how far we've come. That's awesome.
Agreed. Yeah.
That is valuable. And so, yeah, I'm going to use this. So there are a couple things on here that we have not done. I see 2 things that we haven't done. And so when, it's coming up on the time when our family does our annual planning for next year. And this is something that we do for our alumni in December. We get together, our alumni group, we do an annual, it's called a course correct, but because you can't know where you're going until you've seen where you've been. So you kind of look back, reflect on the previous year, and then you start planning the next year. And so I'm going to bring this to our family's annual planning that we do, which is when we will say, okay, well, here are some home improvement things. Is there anything that needs to be added to the list? When do we think we can get that done? Because that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, very cool. Exactly. And it's great to have that kind of thing, to have this kind of like master list for something like a big project, like your house, your ongoing
Yeah,
house, right?
exactly. And
We're
this
not,
is something, and this will live in a different place now because this was before I fell in love with the planner that we use. And actually, our favorite planner, we have a video on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, we have a video called How to Pick a Planner, because there is no perfect planner. I said it. There's no perfect planner.
Yeah.
The perfect planner is the one that you'll use. But we do have some tips on perhaps how to analyze what planner might work for you. And one of the reasons why I love this planner is because it's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. It makes me want to spend time with it. I'm like, oh, my planner. And what's great about this planner and what we recommend for any planner is that you have enough pages in there. So there's about 20 just, unprogrammed pages in the back where you can just take notes or do drawings that are not to scale, whatever you want to do.
Very close to scale, but not to scale. Just want to say, very close to scale.
Close to scale drawings.
Yeah, like I've got lists in the back of mine, like books to read, because people always come with amazing recommendations, and then
yes,
that'll just fly out of my head. Movies you want to watch, things like that. That's where I keep track of our family hikes and that kind of thing. And so you can use that back of the planner for notes or home improvement stuff, whatever it is that and then it's all in one place. That's the other thing that we love about using our planner, is that it's, if you take a note for something,
I know,
it's
right?
not
like
a scrap floating around your house.
Like this scrap floating around my house that
yes.
I randomly, I think it was actually with my favorite recipes. Okay. I was like, what? So the great thing too, and this is a recommendation that and this is something you can easily put into like, if you have a planner you love, you can put this in easily. And that's an index page. And that way, when you start creating a home improvement list on page 225, you can put in the index page home improvement and you can list 225, but maybe it spills over to page 231. You can add that up here so you can easily find it later on, versus like, wait, where is it? I know I did it somewhere. I know it's on here.
Like, did I put that in February? Did I put that? Yeah, exactly. So it is helpful to have an index. And if you're a nerd like me, you want to do a binder, great, awesome. But it is helpful. I mean, it is that time of year where, like, if you don't already have a planner, it's time to grab one and start, noodling your way into 2024. There's a lot going on right now, but you don't want to get to January 1st and be like, oh, I don't have a planner yet.
No, and honestly, take advantage of that week. I call it the week that doesn't really exist. That week between December 26th and December 31st, when when you can, it's a great time to reflect. I love to be as slow as possible during that week and to just really reflect on my year and to drink a lot of eggnog and to, hang out with my family. And this is the perfect time to set up your planner. I spend a lot of time with my planner and our family. We sit down during that week, and that's when we block out my husband and I, our date nights for the following year. And that's when my daughter and I block out our mommy daughter days for the following year. And when they block out their daddy daughter days. And, it's also a great time. I mean, look, if you're not a planner yet, it probably sounds like a lot. I didn't get here overnight. We've only been doing this proactive blocking out of date nights and mommy daughter days and daddy daughter days for a handful of years at this point, but it works so well that we keep doing it. And guess what? Every time we do it, it goes faster.
And I have to say, and if you're a digital planner, like, if you use the digital, like I use a combination for the way my life works, I need to use a Google Calendar, and I have a hard copy planner too. And I have to just say, like, when I populated in date nights, right? Because my husband and I were like, okay, we're gonna do it once a month. It's gonna always be on this Wednesday of the third Wednesday, whatever that day was that we decided at that moment. And then you just automatically repeat it in the Google Calendar. Guess what? It starts to disappear. It starts to become something that we were just kind of like, oh, that's there, but we're gonna blah blah blah. As opposed, like, oh, but there's something else that's come up, or and then we just give it. Right. So that's what starts to happen when it's just automatic like that, as opposed to, okay, I'm setting up my December. I'm gonna write in that, that not play date. It's called a date night. Sorry. I'm like, what do adults do? What do adults?
I guess it could be a play date.
I mean, it could be a play date. I mean, it could turn into a play date. And writing it down and having it be present in, like a more immediately. And then of course, doing this, brain science is doing this helps it go boop, boop in here.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I rely on my Google Calendar a lot for scheduling my clients, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And it's always, because my phone's always on me, it's always on the fly. Like if I have a client call me while I'm in the grocery store, they want to change their time. I don't typically have my planner with me. Right. So, but I always have my phone with me. Right. So,
right.
It works in that respect, but there is something to be said about sitting down, blocking it out and doing it physically. That makes a big difference. And like Allegra said, maybe you're not a planner, or you don't get that deep into planning as we do right now. I remember I took a course a while ago now, and one of the precepts of the course was like, everything is possible through communication, right? And I do also feel like that branches out into planning too. Like everything is possible inside of planning. Now, does that mean you get to do everything? No. You don't get to do everything, because you can't split yourself into multiple people, right? I'm not suggesting that you need to do more, right? But it's possible to do the things that you really, really want to do, that are important to you through planning and through communication, for 100%.
Well, as we like to say, planning makes everything easier.
It really does.
It doesn't make everything happen, but it makes the things that happen easier. And who can't use a little bit of easier?
Right.
Well, that's our time for this week. Next week, I already know what I want to talk about, so I'm just going to tease it here. I heard about it's basically just a reframing. And Natasha and I have talked about the value of reframing before in previous lives, so go ahead and look at that. But this is a reframing around doing household chores that I thought was really smart. And I can't wait to try it this week. And then we can talk about it next week.
Does it make it easier? Does it do it for you? Is it called a housekeeper?
No.
I'm super interested.
No, I don't know. And I'll let you know next week.
Awesome. We'll see you next Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Nice to see you all, wild dreamers.
Bye.
Bye.